Okay. I get the notice that we are live, so hello and welcome to Momodora, Reverie under the Moonlight. This is a Metroidvania made by the Bomb Service team back in 2016, and it's very pretty and very fun, and I'm going to be doing AVIB. Before I start, I'm going to just do a quick rundown of what that means. So there are a couple collectibles in this game, and the main things are Vitality Fragments and Ivory Bugs. So Vitality Fragments is what gives me more health, and then Ivory Bugs is a collectible for some sort of side quest. In this run, we don't need to hand in that side quest, we just need to collect the bugs because collecting stuff is fun. And then the B is for bosses, because there is an optional boss, and I will be showing that optional boss off. Before we start, I'd like to give a quick shout-outs to the Bomb Service team, because just on Tuesday they released a new game called Minoria, which you can find on Steam, and it's a lot of fun, and I'd totally recommend playing not only this, but also their new game that just came out. But with that said, I'm going to be getting started here. I'm going to show my controls for a bit because of leaderboard rules. And then I'm going to count down. I said I'd be playing on normal, and I intend to stick with that, so I'll begin in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. So immediately in the beginning, we get a 20-second cutscene that we can't do anything about, except for just mash through it. Some people like to joke, it's 19 seconds if you mash fast. So, as soon as we gain control of our character, we're going to be constantly dodge rolling. Dodge rolling is fast, and also makes you invincible because it's a dodge, obviously. So, you can do it through enemies, and that helps. You might also notice I can gain height while doing a roll, and that's a trick called a roll jump. I have to press roll and jump on the same frame to get that to work. And this game doesn't let you bind things onto the same key, so I can't just bind roll and jump onto the same key and guarantee a roll jump. And in fact, even if there was a way to do that, there probably is a way to do that, like, manually outside of the game, but that's actually banned to do. So, I'm going to keep running through this area. I'm going to grab that chest with money in it. I need to have 80 money by the time I exit the first area of the game, the Grove, so I'm going to be getting a few chests along the way. And I guess I could take this time to go over my attacks. I have a leaf as my melee weapon, which I can use as a combo, as well as do an aerial attack. And then I have a bow, which I can either just spam shot or, please hit the bell, or charge to 2 different levels. Right below that save point is the first Ivory Bug of the run. There are 20 of those in the game, and as I mentioned earlier, they're just kind of a collectible for a side quest. This game doesn't have a percentage counter except for on the map, so we kind of, AVIB is just an easy way to define our own 100%. I also got my first Vitality Fragment there. Those don't have a counter like the Ivory Bugs do, but I do know there are 17 in the game, so I'm going to be mentally counting those. And on top of mentally counting how many Vitality Fragments I have, I really shouldn't be missing any. And coming up, we're going to get to our first boss. So I have all the money I need, I have all the collectibles I want from this part of the game right now. This is Adea, and bosses are a big part of this run, actually, because in this game, it has a pretty cool feature called boss items, where if you beat a boss without taking any damage, you get a special item from them. So Adea's thing is that you want to be able to hit her tail as much as possible whenever she exposes it with arrows, because that's her weak point, and it does a bunch of damage, as you see. And for beating Adea completely damageless, I'm going to be able to pick up Adea's Pearl right here. Hopefully. And that will add a poison effect to my arrows, and that's extremely useful. But now I'm into the city, which is where I want to be in this game. The plot of this game is, like, the city is cursed, and it's affecting our village. So we're going to go try and stop the curse so that our village will stop dying. Here I'm going to equip my 2 items. I also, with my money, bought the crystal seed there, and what the crystal seed does is it gives me a temporary attack up. Oh, you know what I mentioned about that new game? My controls are very slightly different between this game and that game, and I think that's why I keep messing stuff up. But I guess I could talk about, well on my way to the next boss, the two types of items. So, Adea's Pearl is a passive item, which means that it just kind of, if it's equipped, it will work. And the Crystal Seed is an active item, meaning that, you know, I have to actually consume it. Every time you hit a save point in this game, your capacity of consumable items comes back, so if I were to use that seed and then hit the save point, I would have the seed again. But I'm going to hit that safety save, and then I'm going to go into the next boss fight. This is Mocha, and Mocha's very annoying. In the first area of the game, the Grove, you might remember those enemies that were like those imps that were jumping around and being obnoxious and luck-based in their movement pattern. Mocha is basically just one of those, so my strategy is going to be to stand here and spam some arrows. If he does this attack, I kind of have to move in on him, and I'll do some melee hits until he starts shaking like that, which means I'm done. And we're going to get into the fight with Lubella. Here I'm going to use a secret item called the Fairy. If you do the Konami code, basically, like the first part of it, so up, up, down, down, left, right, it spawns the Fairy, and that's where all the lasers came from. It acts as a consumable, so I can only use it once per save bell I hit. And Lubella kind of sucks because she can dive like that, which is luck-based when she'll do it, and if she chooses to do it, that's 12 seconds down the drain. But that wasn't a pretty awful fight, so... we get the Bachman patch for beating her deathless, or damageless rather. And something I should mention is that poison. If you get poisoned by your own arrows, which is a thing that can happen, that does kill your perfect fight. So, the Bachman patch is a very good attack. What it does is, as you'll see, squares. That was a mini-boss, by the way. I'm gonna get another bug that's up here. If I know my buttons. I have not played this game enough. I'm too used to my control set in the other game. We'll get used to it again. Don't worry. What's pretty challenging about this game, though, is that it actually doesn't give me its healing item, like the beginning healing item, for free. So I have no healing items. At this point, though, the next save point is before any enemies. This is an NPC named Paramal who basically tells us something. After you beat Lubella, the game splits up, and you can go to 4 different areas, and your goal is to get a crest shard from each of those areas so you can get into the castle, and we can do that in just about any order. So the routing really opens up once you get to this part of the run, and the first area that we go in this category is down here into the Cinder Chambers, which you'll see in a moment once I stop going down this ladder. We have to climb back up this thing later, by the way. So yeah, I'm in the Cinder Chambers now. It's a very devilish area. There are a lot of traps, and a lot of very powerful enemies with very big attack ranges. And eventually you make it down to the bottom, and there's the boss fight. So the next boss we're going to fight is the Arsonist. The Arsonist is difficult, especially when you're pressing the wrong button. Yeah, especially when you're pressing the wrong button. Oh my goodness. Please stop doing... I don't know why I keep doing that. I mean, I do know why, but I don't know why I haven't gotten back to knowing what I'm doing by now. It's all good. It's all good. We're okay. So the goal of this fight is, she likes to teleport when she's off screen, so... what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and keep her on screen so that she won't teleport, because teleporting is very annoying. But at the same time, I do want to keep my range. And instead of fighting with melee attacks, I do want to fight more with arrows. If she walks towards me, I'm not afraid to, like, you know, hit her a couple times. Like that. At this point in the fight, we're most likely going to be perfectly fine. Yes! Okay, the poison killed her. Very good. Kind of silly screw up at the beginning, but second try fight, I'll take it. Kath is kind of far away from me, which sucks, and I'm not very close to the right, which also sucks, because then she has to run over, and then I have to go over. Kath there can give you some exposition, but you can say no, and she'll call you a roach, and you can move on. And we get the pocket incensory for beating the arsonist there, which is a very good item. The pocket incensory adds a fire effect to all of your damage. So even the sword, or the leaf rather, and we can use that very much boss fight easier. Yeah. We also, from our first crest fragment, get the upgrade of the midair dash, which is very useful, as it moves us way faster than the roll. So instead of just mashing roll everywhere, now I'm going to be roll jumping into the air and using the dash. I also got a key here, that's important. Okay. I didn't die, that's what's important. The key is important because it has a collectible behind it, so I need to get it later. And that room is just kind of loaded with collectibles anyways. On top of the key, you have a bug and a vitality fragment. But now we need to navigate through the Cinder Chambers, which is a pretty dangerous area. These spike balls do a lot of death and damage. I meant to say damage, but I ended up saying death somehow. So now I'm, like, really scared, because I got hit by one, and I don't like getting hit by one. So I'm going to try and play this as safe as I can. We're lucky those spike balls even aren't insta-kill, because, like, normal spikes are insta-kill in this game, actually. Alright, but now we're going to go up here. And I somehow got hit there. I don't like the fact that I got hit by that, because that means my movement was, like, not just bad, but, like, god-awful. So yeah, that's a death, and I have to go back to the save point. This is why I always hit that save point, because getting hit by a spike ball means, like, you will die a lot of the time. And I got hit by a spike ball. I got caught on the corner! This is a disaster. Yeah, so I need to go back here. This game doesn't save anything if you die. So you just have to get everything from your save point again. There's no auto-saving, is basically what I mean there. It doesn't, like, you know, have a redemption system. It just has a you died. Okay, let's not make a fool of ourselves. I just do this attack every time to make sure they don't attack. I don't have to kill that enemy. It just means I really failed at attempting to get on that platform while stunning them. Because the jumping in this game can be pretty funny. Now we're in Whiteleaf Memorial Park. And this place is really dangerous when you have little HP. So I'm going to play it safe and try and kill these things, or at least knock them out of the way. Well, they very much want to get in my way right now. And then I'm going to do a little skip here. So you're intended to have the garden key to get into this area. However, from a different entrance, that is. However, if I use the Bachman patch there, then I can just hit a lever. There's a lever, like, right here on the elevator, and that usually opens that block. So I hit that lever with the patch through the wall, and I can kind of break into this area of the game unintended. and that's pretty cool. There's a bug in this wall. I'm at 4-6 right now, so I'm good on collectibles right now. So here I'm going to hit this after eating my seed. So that way I can use the seed again. I won't need to if she does a dive here, or if she doesn't do a dive here, because as you can see, the combination of the patch and the incensory just absolutely destroyed the rematch with Lubella. I did get hit there, however, this fight, it actually does not matter at all if you get hit, because the boss item from Lubella 2 does not help you with healing damage. So we don't need it. It takes up an item slot. It takes up a passive slot, too, which, like, those are very important. But now we're a cat. We got cursed, is what you're supposed to think. However, the cat is actually very good. It's quicker. It can jump pretty good. It can't use ladders, but it is faster is the thing. So I'm going to be roll jumping into a cancel of my roll jump, and then doing, what is it? And then doing, air dash, and that's, like, officially the fastest thing we can do in this game. So, expect to see a lot of that for the rest of the run. But now we need to go back up this elevator. If you like long climbs, this is the split for you. Because we have this elevator, and then we have ladder boss coming up in a little bit. And ladder boss is great. But first off, I need to go, before I go to ladder boss, I need to get an item that's right over here. There's a vitality fragment. I'm surprised I'm not dead right now. I'm going to die right now! Okay, I'm not dead right now. Okay, there's a bug in the wall again. Alright, I'm alive. So now I'm climbing a ladder. I don't have anything to say during this part. Alright, we made it to the south. We can finally save the game, so I'm out of the Cinder Chambers. And now at this point, I beat a boss, like a major boss, but I didn't get a crest fragment from it. So I need to go get that crest fragment because it's pretty important. And to do that, I need to backtrack to the first area of the game. So I'm not doing much in this time. Since I'm a cat and a cat moves faster, I'm going to be taking my time as the cat to pick up some, like, collectibles that I could have picked up as human. However, since the cat moves faster, it takes less time to go through the path to get that collectible, so I do it now. And now we're back in the first area of the game. And in the first area of the game, there are a few places you can go exclusively as the cat. So, like, through here, you need to have the cat, and you can go into the 4CL, which is a kind of hidden area below the grove. And it's important because it has some collectibles for us. Okay, if I can navigate it. It has this room, which is notorious for sucking. Also, for some reason, if you fall into spikes that have no floor tile under them, your death animation's a lot quicker because your sprite just kind of despawns as soon as you hit the bottom of the screen. And so you don't have to watch the full animation because there's no longer any sprite to watch the animation with. I'm poisoned and dying, but I got the vitality fragment in that room and then died again. Yeah, that's the full death animation. get to see this room another time. I did not do the cancel there. It's fine. I'm going to be poisoned as soon as I gain control again. That's fine. And there we go. I made it through. And now that I made it through that room, I'm going to do a skip here. I'm going to skip... Okay, never mind. Usually what you can do is if you do your movement right there, you can skip having to go on this platform and waiting for the cycle by landing right up like here. However, I messed it up, so I can't platform. Now we have the second crest fragment that we were supposed to get from Lubella, but she cursed us. And this one gives us the ability to work between this, like, major save bells in each area of the game. So now if I'm at a save bell, I can warp to other places. I'm going to use that immediately to warp to a save bell earlier in the grove. So that I can backtrack through it and get some collectibles that I missed. This Vitality Fragment also follows the trend of I could have gotten this earlier, but since the cat moves faster, I get it now. Alright. Now we're done with our backtrack of the grove. I'm gonna move down here. And go into the third area, or the area where the third crest fragment we want in the route is. This is the subterranean grave. It's kind of our water area of the game. Alright. That's Aerie, she's not important. What is important that I go up here, and this bug requires the cat to have I'm just trying to count my fragments right now because I'm forgetting if I forgot one or not. I don't think I did. Three. That area I got 4 and 5. I got 6 and 7 there. I got 8. Did I get 9? This should be 10 right now. Welcome to me forgetting things I did. If anybody's been counting along in chat, is that the 10th fragment I've gotten? Regardless, here if I do this, I can skip an enemy spawning, and that enemy that usually spawns sucks. So now we're gonna get into our next boss fight. This is Frida. She also just kind of gets absolutely murdered by the pocket incensory. Alright, that was Frida. And we get the sparse thread from beating her damage list, which is a very good damage item. And now we're gonna go back to the monastery and get the 4th area done, because the monastery, we used it to get into the Cinder Chamber. However, there is, like, actual stuff we can do here. Like, get a Vitality Fragment that's up here. And we can talk to this character. There's... all the cats in the room are sleeping. Aww. What the cats are doing, whether they're sitting, sleeping, or walking around, and what color each cat is completely random. We call it cat RNG, and there's no bad patterns in cat RNG. And we get the monastery key from her. And we can use that to go to the top part of the monastery where the boss is. Here I got cursed, which means I can't use an item. However, if I just heal at the bell, I get my item usage back. Here I'm going to pick up the soft tissue as well as get the bug that's back here. They're both useful. And now with all these items, I'm going to try and kill this boss fairly quickly. So this is Fennel. And she is usually in the game, like, supposed to be, like, a duel, and, like, a very good boss fight, where she, like, it's, like a sword duel, basically. However, with all these items, we kind of just quick kill her like that, and get the last crest fragment. So now we can go into the last portion of the game. The last 2 areas of the game. If I can warp to the city. Now, this is the part of the game where it gets pretty hard because, you know, it's no more Metroidvania-ish, so it expects you to... it expects the difficulty to increase because you've gone through all the areas, so the game can more accurately predict how good you are at it by the fact that you made it here. And this area is really hard. Even with how many health upgrades we have, which should be 11 of the 17, these enemies all do, like, these skeletons in particular do brutal amounts of damage. So we need to be real careful with ourselves here. Otherwise we will bite the dust in a way that we do not want to. So I already got all the vitality fragments in this area, actually. There are 3 of them, and you get all 3 of those before you get any of the ivory bugs in this area, and there are also 3 ivory bugs in this area. We're going to go up here and get an item called the Sealed Wind, which is going to be important for later. It's not a very conventionally useful item, however, it is required for something we need to do in this run. And I'm going to hit the save point because usually the next boss item is one that there are backup strats without. However, the secret boss, I'm going to be honest, I cannot do those backup strats. So I'm going to go in. I'm just going to, like, just go in and try and get this boss item to the best of my ability. If I use this item before, if I use the patch before I get into the arena, I can skip the cutscene and just immediately start with Lupiar getting owned. Alright, and it's good that I have an extra patch for this second part of the fight with Magnolia, because that means I can one-cycle if I'm fast enough, which I still wasn't because I wanted to do some dumb stuff. But there we go. I got the boss first try. And I get the heavy arrows for that. Nope, that's not right. I just need to do that right now. Kind of messing up my equips a bit. But the heavy arrows do, they make our arrows do great amounts of damage. Looking good? Okay. That was weird. Yeah, but they make everything do very good amounts of damage, so they're gonna be great for boss kills for the last couple parts of the game. We're now in the castle itself. And I do need to get a collectible here that has a pretty funny location tied to it. So I go up this path, and then I need to get on this invisible platform over here that has the bug on it. And then I need to go back down. You're intended to actually go on that up path. However, with use of the Bachman patch, I can do a skip here, where I just use it. And similarly to the White Leaf Park, I hit a switch through. I accidentally warped back to the castle, but I hit a switch through the wall there, and that basically made it so I activated that shortcut early, and now I can use that when I get back instead of doing what I'm supposed to do. So, coming up next, I'm going to go back to a place in the city and use a specific item. I'm going to use that wind I just got on this windmill, and it's going to open the path below it. And when I open the path below it, I get this pool of tea that I can bathe my maple leaf in, and I get the fresh spring leaf. The fresh spring leaf acts as a story item. It ups your leaf's attack damage, which is good, but also what it does is it gives you access to the good ending of the game, which every category, not just AVIB, requires that you get the good ending to be accepted on the leaderboard. So here, before I go back to the castle, though, I actually am going to give an item to Choir here, which is the soft tissue that I got earlier. And if I do that, then that means that I can... Oh, I left myself with a cat. Oops. If I do that, that means I can actually get the secret boss here. For the secret boss, I'm showing off the Tainted Missive, which is Fennel's boss item. It takes away a quarter of my max HP, and in return, what it does is in return for taking away a quarter of my max HP, it doubles my attack. Alright, that was kind of funky. But I did get the boss fight first try. So that's the secret boss of the game. That's Choir. Fennel, the boss we got to get our fourth crest fragment, is Choir's sister, actually. So they have a relation. And now we're into the last part of the run. We just have to storm the castle and defeat the queen. So I have to get the last 3 vitality fragments and die. This is a good time to recap to make sure I have everything. So I have the 2 from there, the 1 from there, that's 3. I do have the 2 from there, that makes it 5. I have the 1 from there to get 6. There's 1 in that area to get 7. 2 to get 9. I feel like I'm forgetting a bunch of things, but it's just because I'm an idiot. I'm pretty sure I'm fine on fragments. But I need to take some side paths into castle to get the last few fragments here. so we're gonna go through this room quickly. We have all except for one of the crest fragments at this point. Here's Kath. She's tired and waiting for her Uber and not dead at all. She's dead. So I had to say it. This should be, assuming I remembered everything, which I'm blanking on what I picked up, but I'm pretty sure I picked up everything. That is the last vitality fragment of the game. So this is the amount of health we will have for the end of the run. So this angel, not actually an angel, according to people that have done research, but everyone calls her an angel, me included, so angel, is a mini-boss. They clone themselves. You're supposed to be able to tell by that, like, red flash on the attack they did who's the clone, or who's the real one compared to all the clones that don't have that flash. How am I not dead there? I misinput and almost died. But you can also apparently tell by one is going to be lower than the other to the ground, or closer to the ground. And I say apparently because usually I can spot it, but for some reason there I was completely clueless. Alright, and this is kind of dangerous. I'm now on the last screen of the game before the final boss where I can take damage. Okay, I didn't die there. Do I have all 20 bugs? I do. Alright, cool. We should have everything. This is the final boss. To start, I'm going to use a missive, charge to arrow level 3, and do a combo, roll, and then just start doing level 2 charge arrows. Level 2 charge arrows become faster to do than just kind of normal spamming once you get the arrow upgrade, or the arrow charge speed upgrade from Farida's crest fragment. And I messed up this part of the fight. I usually want to do more damage. However, using this, I can actually get some physical damage in, assuming I press the physical attack button and not the dash everywhere button. I think I'm going to die if I use the Tainted Missive, so I'm going to do a safety strat where I instead equip the Crystal Seed for this part of the fight. I also forgot to warp off of Cat again, but I'm getting into the last phase of the fight, so time will be when I kill this phase of the fight. This is the phase that you get for having the fresh spring leaf and causes the good ending. Time! There we go. Okay, I didn't die. You have to do an extra melee combo compared to normal if you're doing the Crystal Seed strats, and because I decided to dash right into phase 2 attacks, I had to do the Crystal Seed strats, but that was a pretty alright run. I'm just gonna very quickly open up my splits to make sure I remembered everything, because I'm very conscious about, like, I swear I'm blanking on some vitality fragments, and I want to make sure I didn't just pass right by something. Meanwhile, I'll start to let the ending play out a bit here. But that was a decent run. 37:02 is... My PB is 33 flat, but for a marathon run, I'll take a 37. Especially a low 37. Let's see, I got that one. I got that. I got those two. I got those two. I got 1, 2, 3. There's 3 in that area. The whole game I was counting as if there were 2 in that area, but there's 3. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so I'm good there. I got the one there. I got the one there. I didn't! Alright, I didn't forget anything. I'm, like, now 100% sure I didn't forget everything. So yeah, that's AVIB. I really enjoyed that. Again, shout out to the community of this game. A great bunch of people. You see some of the... I see, chat, or I see Catnip, I see Asia, I see Googler. Shout outs to all of y'all. I saw Kezi earlier. Cedos Kez. So shout outs to, like, everybody. And if this game looked interesting, please, please, please try it out for yourself. And also try out Minoria which is the new game by Bomb Service, the team that made this game. It's on Steam as well as this game. And with that, that's all I have to say for Momodora. So I'm going to go into setup so that we can prepare for one shot.